Welcome, everyone, to episode 2 of the Health and Wealth Podcast. My name is Steve Giordano. We have a very, very unorthodox and special guest with us today, Vinny Ciolino, good friend of mine. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Steve. How are you?
I'm great, man.
Great. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Round of applause for you.
Love it.
So we've known each other for how long?
Oh, jeez. 15 years, give or take.
15 years. Met Long Island, New York, being diehard Dolphin fans.
Oh, jeez.
Been painful.
Suffering, pain and suffering.
What we're going to talk about today is, number one, my admiration for you as an entrepreneur and all the things that you've taught me in this business, learning from you, on the work ethic side of things, on the side of, how to run the business, how to keep yourself with the right mindset, and a lot of the different things that I've just learned from you over the years before I was an entrepreneur. So start here. Tell us a little bit about your business, how you got it started, and what exactly it is that you do.
Well, all right. So basically, I'm one of 2 owners of Mill Arrow Solutions, based out of Bohemia, New York. I've been doing this basically since I was 19 years old, right out of high school. No college degree, no education in really anything. I was working actually at an auto parts store. It's funny. So somebody had walked in, and I was trying to upsell him on a battery, and he's like, "Hey kid, you're pretty good at selling. You want a real job?" Like, I'm 19. What's a real job? So I go down. I take a job at a company called Triangle Electronics Group, and I started buying and selling electronic components. And I took off. I mean, I was doing great with it. I was a 19-year-old kid. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I had no product knowledge on it, but I just was at it, and I hit it hard every single day. And, I pissed a lot of people off in there that were doing this for, 7, 8, 10 years, 9, 11, 12 years. And they just didn't have the drive that I had. And that's one thing that they couldn't teach. So what happened was I bounced around the industry for a little bit trying to find my way. And then one day I got married. I came home from work, and I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, listen, do you trust me?" She says, "Well, yeah, why?" So I just quit my job. I'm taking all the money we just got from the wedding, and I'm starting a business, and I'm investing in us. And to be honest with you, I came in. I had one partner at the time, and it didn't work out. But I kept going, and I kept grinding. I kept my head down. I formed Mill Arrow about 10 years ago with my partner, John Erickson. And to be honest with you, I mean, the two of us, we came in with the same age. We had no choice but to make this work. I was just married, had a baby. He had a baby 3 weeks before we started. And we just basically came in, put our head down, picked up the phone, started grinding, and, the rest is history.
That's awesome, bro. It's a great story. So you're the type, just in talking to you and knowing you and hearing you, explain all that, mindset to me comes to mind when I think of you, because I think that you don't really think too much. You just kind of go and do. So did you ever have moments or times where you're like, I don't know, going, jumping in, explaining it to your wife what you were going to be doing? Did you have doubts in the beginning?
Honestly, no. I say all the time, I'm more clutch in the fourth quarter than Tom Brady. I know I'm going to make this work. There's no doubt in my mind. I basically came, my middle class, my parents were hardworking people. I got all the values in the world from my mom and dad. My brothers, whole hardworking people. I knew as long as I work hard, I can make it work. And, when my wife and I, we first got married, we really didn't have any money. I remember I ran my bank account down to maybe I had $1,000 in it. And I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to pay rent next month. And all of a sudden, it just started clicking. I worked harder. I got hungrier. I came into work every day. I put my head down, and I just didn't take no for an answer. I was 15, 16 hours a days. And my partner and I, we just came in and we said, we have one goal. That's to dominate the day. And how do I get to that? Pick up the phone and start dialing. The Wolf of Wall Street was right. The more numbers you pick up, the more times you dial, the more leads you will close, the more business you will get, and the better your future in your life will be. And no matter how far in life you get with it, you have to keep going. You can never say you reached the top. And Steve, to be honest with you, man, I've watched you since day one when you started your business. And I'll be honest with you, I think I got a lot to learn from you now. Because I sit here, I walk in the door here, and to be honest with you, man, I'm extremely proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. The way you built your business. You walked in every day and you did the same thing. You took whatever advice I gave you, you tweaked it, you made it your own. And to be honest with you, I kind of actually want to learn from you now.
Well, that's saying something. Because you have been a tremendous inspiration to me and to many. I know, you have a big business, and, from a percentage perspective, like where are you now from a growth perspective from where you were, let's say 2 to 3 years ago? Like, how much bigger is your business today than it was a couple years back?
Oh, I basically overnight, so what had happened was John and I, my partner, we bought a company out, Triangle Electronics. And when I said to you before, that was the first company I ever worked for. So John and I actually bought that company out. That became official in 2017, January 1 of 2017. So we basically came from a small little, maybe 3,000 square foot office, and I blew it up into, now I'm a stocking distributor at this point. I started a cable assembly manufacturing company up in Connecticut at the same time. We basically tripled in size overnight. I mean, and that's just from acquisitions and buyouts.
That's incredible, man.
Thank you.
What are some of the things that, in your grind in the years of you doing this, would you say are some of the, we'll call it the intangible things and the things that you need to do to have a successful business? Because I'm sure, just like in this business that we're in, you see a lot of people come, you see a lot of people go, they don't really give it all that it needs, and then they fail. And I'm sure you obviously see that as well. So what are some of the little things, the traits, the characteristics that you look for in people, whether you work with them or whatever, that are, success? What does success look like in traits and little characteristic things?
Well, success basically, I mean, it comes from three things, especially being in a sales profession. You need to have drive. If you don't have drive, don't even bother doing this. That's one. You need to be persistent. You need to keep doing the same thing over and over again, no matter how hard it gets. And the key to the whole factor is your attitude. Being able to pick up the phone, keep dialing when somebody tells you no 150 times a day, 200 times a day, just keeping that same positive attitude. It will beat you down every day if you let it. And it's a matter of how you react to that. You can go into every phone call, you can go into every lead, you can go into every business meeting with the same attitude of, I'm going to make this work no matter what. You need to go and grab what you can out of that. You come in with a bad attitude, you're not gonna sell it. I used to have a guy that used to work with me, and his thing was, he would say, listen, you could pick up the phone, you can call somebody and say, oh, you need any parts today? You need any parts today? They're gonna tell you no. It's separating yourself from everybody else out there. That's how you get to it. Call up. Listen, my name is Vinny. I live in New York, right? Typical Guinea from New York, right? So you pick up the phone and I tell them, listen, you're never going to forget a guy named Vinny from New York, right? I'll sell you guys whatever you guys want. You need parts, I'll throw garlic knots in the box for you. You want toilet paper, coloring books, crayons. It's separating yourself. And the minute that you get that person on the other phone to chuckle or laugh, you got them. You got it. Because the last person that called up asking for parts, they hung up the phone and they forgot your name before they even hung up the phone.
It's a very good point. How did you manage the pandemic? Because, in our industry in insurance, we certainly thrived in the pandemic because people were home. People were more freaked out and caring about their family more. So we definitely thrived, and we've talked, a lot of businesses did, and other ones, have fallen by the wayside. How is it that your business did? How did you evolve? What are things that you learned during that pandemic, and how are you coming out of it?
Well, that's actually a great question. The pandemic year for me, I mean, it was in 2019. I had the best year in business I ever had. I mean, we lit it up. We were closing deals. We were award-winning supplier for Boeing. 2020 came and everything hit the brakes. Now, a lot of my business comes from like private aviation companies, charter flights. I do a lot of repair work for them. So I lost all that business when people couldn't fly, they couldn't go on vacation. We basically did what we had to do. We said, you know what, right now we're in survival mode. Our company was very strong. We had dominant years for all this time, and we were smart with it. We kept investing it back into our company. We started then, we're like, something? There's companies out there now that they overbought for production that they can't have. Let's go buy their inventory. There's going to be a shortage. All manufacturing is down. My gamble paid off. John and I went out. We bought a tremendous amount of inventory. I had tractor trailer after tractor trailer showing up at my place with all component, board level parts. Sure enough, our gamble paid off. Everything started opening up, and now what happens is production is behind. Now the chip shortage is behind. I'm sitting on a tremendous amount of inventory on it. So that loss we took in 20, we actually tripled it in 21, and we're already ahead of where we were in 2019 because of that. Because we were able to forecast, we were able to see, I don't want to say predict the future, but we knew what was going to happen in front of us. And we took advantage of the opportunity where a lot of companies, they didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's really awesome, because that was one of the things I think for, the insurance business too, was kind of, let's put all of our chips in and go all in on it. And that's a big thing that I've learned from you over the years in business and having this business. I think when I started, I was a little leery about spending money on leads, spending extra money, staff, office, all that stuff. And now as I look at it, I'm like, every time that I've spent more, I've been able to make more. And that's a big thing. That's an issue for a lot of our agents. And I'm sure you see it in your business. They're afraid to just kind of go that extra mile, and they don't understand that that's what actually makes it easier for you. When do you think you learned, and it's probably very early on, or when did you look at money differently? Because it's something that clicked for me a couple years back when I started this, about from the investment side of things, just looking at money differently from that entrepreneurial thought process.
Well, that actually, I have actually two sides of that. So my problem was I started my business at 25. I'm 38 now. At 25, when I really was on my own, I was married, I really didn't have any money. And then you start making money, and you start making money fast. See, the biggest problem is that could have made or break me at that point, because you're making money, you never had it before, you really don't know what to do with it, so you start spending it hand over fist, you start buying luxuries, you start doing this, and then all of a sudden, you start realizing, something, this might not last forever. Let me pull it back a little bit. And that's when I started realizing and appreciating what I was doing. Now, my goal is I don't worry about money. It's going to be there. I know I do the same thing over and over and over every day. I outwork myself every day. I'm my biggest competitor. There's nobody in the room in my office that's going to outwork me. And I just know now the value at 38 that I didn't have the value of the same dollar at 25. At 25, I was a young, hungry kid that just wanted to make money today. It probably clicked for me around 30. I had 2 kids, had a mortgage, business that was on the upswing. Now my money will make money for me forever. I'm not looking to make money today, or I'm not looking to make money, next week. I'm looking to make money for a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And that's what I try to channel with the guys that work for me, that stop going for the carrot in front of you right now. That short, quick little $100 sale you're going to make today, that's not going to pay your bills tomorrow. That's just instant gratification. And that's not what sales is about. Everybody always wants to get the win, but don't get the win right off the gate. You might win today. You can win today, tomorrow, and the next day. Don't just focus on winning today. And that's when when that all clicked, that's when I knew I had this.
It's a very good point. I think I thought of money differently when I started, because I didn't get it in the beginning. I always knew I wanted to have a business. I worked in, restaurants my whole life, and I didn't get putting out right away to see the return. But knowing you and knowing your story and talking to you and seeing the way you did it, I was like, all right, like it makes sense. Like, why don't I just do that? And now, with agents and in this industry, the amazing thing about the insurance industry is you don't have to put out a ton of money and then go work to make a lot back. We have agents that they'll spend $1,000 on leads, which is like pulling teeth sometimes. And then they'll go write 5, 7, 10. And then the other thing that'll happen, they'll see that success, and then they'll say, I'm going to go take a week off and go on vacation now because I just made 5, 7, 10 grand, right? And then probably how you were at 25 and probably how I would have been. And they won't keep reinvesting. And like, you see it. Like, you see what it does. Like my first month, I spent $4,000 on leads and I wrote 21 grand, not knowing what in the world I was doing, just literally following a system and listening to podcasts. And what we do is pretty simple. We go and meet people and get them insurance. And what's great about this industry too is money is a great byproduct of helping people. Mm-hmm. I don't know a ton of your business. I know enough from knowing you. How would you equate what we do in helping people with life insurance to people that you help with the parts and the supplies that you give to people? How would you equate that to helping people?
Well, basically what I do is, so I'll go to like manufacturing companies, say like Eaton Corporation or Lockheed Martin or Boeing. And basically what I'll try to do is I try to save them money on their components. I have strategic relationships with component manufacturers, with franchise distributors that I get premier pricing on. So what I do is I actually pass that discount off to those companies. They're not able to buy from them. So they have to go through a third-party distributor like myself. So what happens with that is I pass that off to them. And then on my aviation side, I basically dominate the entire industry on it. My brother and my brother Anthony, we got together and we formed like an aviation division out of this. So he was an aviation mechanic. He had his A&P. He worked for a company called Talon Air for 5 or 6 years. And they had a lot of problems with their aircraft. I was in that business. What happened was we teamed up with a contract manufacturer, a repair house. We took their problem parts. We actually sent the parts to them. They overhauled it and brought it back. So on components that they were spending, $20,000, $30,000 on, we were able to supply it to them for $15,000, half of it, and still make a profit on it. And our lead time was cheaper. Well, our lead time was faster. Our pricing was cheaper. Our service was better. And it's just constant, and then it just starts snowballing. You have to, right down the mountain it goes. And that's, it's all teamwork. And that's really what we ended up doing with it. And that's how we save, somebody owns that aircraft. That guy's paying that bill. So he's getting the savings on it, and he's able to fly his plane, and he's happy with us, and we keep getting his repeat business.
That's awesome, dude. So how do I get you to now start a business in insurance? Because clearly you know a lot about business, and clearly you have multiple. Mm-hmm. Would you ever consider, I'm putting you on the spot of recruiting because that's what I do, would you ever consider starting an insurance industry or agency? Would I ever?
Listen, if I had your guidance, I can tell you right now, and this is nothing towards you. You have an ultimate success story. I guarantee you, if I started doing this with the drive and determination I have, I could be right there with you. I would consider it. Absolutely.
I love it. I mean, look, diversity in your businesses, right? Like we had Sean Merriman on last week, who, NFL player, entrepreneur. He's involved in multiple different things, and now he got into this arena. I think it's opening up the door for entrepreneurs to be like, hey, like I can add that in my portfolio to have an insurance agency, because the fact of the matter is insurance, what we do is not a crazy complicated thing. We have leads, people fill out forms, they need insurance, mortgage protection, final expense, annuities. And then we call them up, we go see them, figure out what their problem is, and try and put them in a product that's going to be affordable and protect their family. So it's very simple. And there's hundreds of thousands of agents all over the country that don't make the comp that they should. So one of the biggest issues in this business is people make low comp, 40%, 50%. And the top guy keeps all the money. But Sean built this company, and all of us have followed suit, where we're giving higher comp to people because you're the one buying the lead, you're the one going to the house, you're the one seeing the family, you're the one doing all the work. So you're the one who should be compensated.
Absolutely.
So it's an amazing business that you can now add to a portfolio of one that you have that's very, very lucrative.
Right.
And this might be one of the best recruiting jobs I've ever done because I'm doing it live right here. And I think you'd be awesome at it.
Thank you.
So what are some things that, you're kind of working on at this stage of the game in your business? You've obviously grown it to a tremendous level. What's kind of next for you?
I'm not done growing.
I like that.
I'm not done growing. It's never enough. I got an office here, considering opening up a place in North Carolina, considering another place down in Florida. I'm not done growing. Honestly, that it's the biggest problem I have is it's never enough, because there's always a bigger picture. You have to keep riding with momentum. If you stop the drive and you get complacent, the problem is people that are complacent, they don't ever just stay in the same spot. They actually dwindle down a little bit every day, and they don't realize it. Complacency is not staying in the same spot forever. It's actually going backwards. It's never enough. It's just not.
See, I love that, because the motivation, a lot of times I think people think entrepreneur, business, it's all about money, money, money.
No.
It's not about money. It's about like just doing more, helping more people. Whoever helps the most people wins at the end of the day. in any business, doesn't matter what it is. And then money's a byproduct of helping people, whether it be, your staff, your employees, our agents. How many employees do you have currently?
So right now in New York, I have 16 in New York. I have up in the Connecticut manufacturing branch, I have 12. 7 of those are full-time and a couple part-time.
How is managing that? I know, we've spoken and it can be a challenge, how is it managing it, and how is it trying to find the same drive that you have in others? Because it's something that I struggle with, like not everybody's going to want the same things that you and I want. So how do you kind of manage that with people?
Well, that's actually the biggest frustrating thing I have. And John and I, we sit down and we talk. I just don't get it. I don't get how people come into work every day and you're there from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are on your shift. You're there anyway. Why not capitalize on it? Those are the only hours that these people are allowing themselves to make money. And you'd rather sit there on ESPN or Facebook or Instagram, and they know, listen, I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to come down on you, but it's your paycheck. Mm. You're the one affecting you. You're hurting. You need to go home and look at your wife and you look at your kids in the face and explain to them why you can't do something with them because you don't have the money to do it. But that falls on you. You need to come in every day. You need to put your head down. The more numbers you dial, the more people you call, the more opportunity you're going to have of being successful at this. And I tell people, if you fail at it, it's not on me. You can blame me if I tell you, oh, there's no money to buy parts, or I can't do this, or I can't do. Then you can blame me. But we don't even get to that point yet.
Yeah.
We don't even get to that. And I have guys that have worked for me for, 7, 8 years, 9 years. And these guys make good money. It's 6-figure salaries with commission, medical insurance. But why not take that $120,000, $130,000 that you work for and you're on autopilot and push yourself to the limit? Get yourself to $250,000. Get yourself to the next tax bracket. Do it for yourself. You're there every day anyway. You can't. You made the choice to get out of bed and come in. Mm. You're there.
Good point.
Just do it.
Yeah. One thing I love to talk about is schedule, right? I think everybody I talk to, in FFL or just in general, that's a high-level person, a high-level entrepreneur. They have a strict schedule and a routine. What is your daily routine for yourself?
All right. So basically, it actually changed a little bit on me.
Well, you got jacked, so you're clearly working out.
I am. Thank you for noticing. I haven't seen you since December.
You got jacked, so
I did. I got a personal trainer now, so okay. I go to the gym. And to be honest with you, I actually got that from you, because you used to tell me that the best stress release you have is just going to the gym and just kicking ass.
Yeah, when I can punch something.
Yeah, seriously. No, so basically every day I'm up by 5 o'clock every day. I'm showered, I'm dressed, I'm ready to go by 5:30, the latest 5:30. I leave my house. I'm the first guy in my office. I'm there at 6:30 every morning, Monday through Friday. I work till 5:30. I go to the gym with my partner, Blue Collar Barbell, private trainer Shauna Mendelson. Look her up.
Nice.
Go there. I train with her for 3 times a week for about an hour. After that, I go home. Then it's dad mode for a couple hours for homework, and then right back on the grind. And to be honest with you, I mean, like you, my phone never stops.
Yeah.
I'm checking emails all day. I got planes that are AOG. I got problems with an employee who had an issue with another account that they need, wire money to this and handle a problem. And it doesn't stop. And then I'm usually in bed by, I'm probably sleeping by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Hopefully I get the whole full night's sleep and I don't get a phone call in the middle of the night to wake me up. I can't tell you. And my wife, Lauren, will definitely attest to this. I mean, I've probably closed more deals in my underwear in my closet with the door closed, trying not to wake the kids up. I probably do more at night than probably most of my guys do during the day.
Mm. Yeah, that's impressive, because it's funny, like when you run a business, like it runs all the time, 24 hours a day, and you just can, wherever you're at, jump on it, do it. I mean, the cell phone, whatever that thing costs, man, that thing's worth
it.
Millions of dollars. So new iPhone just came out, and Margo's like, "Why are you buying the new iPhone?" I'm like, "Because it makes me a ton of money."
Yeah, have to.
Every time I answer the phone, it makes me money. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's funny because every time you talk to people, it's like the schedule's a big thing, the health's a big thing. Mm-hmm. I think one thing that you just mentioned was like just kind of putting out fires. And I think one thing for you that I learned a lot was always going to the next thing and not focusing on whatever the loss was, because let's face facts. Like, I'm sure there are things in your week and day where you're just like, you want to pound your head against the wall. How do you always keep yourself going to the next thing?
Oh, after the week I had this week at work, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that on this, but I told you a little bit off the air about what went on. And yeah, listen, as hard as it gets, you got to just put your head down. I told you there's 3 things. It's drive, persistence, and attitude. And attitude is the key of the whole thing. If you come in there and something, the world could have just ended yesterday, but that doesn't matter today. That's over. That could have happened before lunch. After lunch, it's a new game. You got to hit the reset button. As bad as it gets, as hard as it gets, you always got to be upbeat. You always got to have the attitude. You always got to keep your head up high. You just got to keep moving forward. And just do not take no for an answer. And that's what separates that from the guy who's walking in the door, hungover, bothered, fighting with his wife or her husband or boyfriend or girlfriend. And those people aren't going to make it. You coming in, you're already defeated. You don't even have to show up. You're defeated. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the majority of people that a lot of people that I see in this industry, they'll fail or they'll fizzle out probably 7 out of 10. And it's not because the system doesn't work. I mean, systems work. It's do you work? Do you put in the extra time? Do you put in the extra effort? Do you invest in yourself enough? Do you go the extra mile? So give us some parting shots, and you can kind of gear it towards maybe our industry a little bit. Just, I know you said your 3 things. If there's any other little things that you can give to agents that are getting going and that are struggling, like some little things that you would say, go do this, just from a business perspective, to have success.
Best thing you got to do is you got to have time. You have to put the time in. If you come in and think this is a 10-day fix and you're going to be a millionaire in 10 days or 20 days, don't waste your time. Don't waste your own time. Don't waste your time. The best thing you have to do is you need time. This is an investment. This isn't the stock market where you're going to go and put, $10,000 on something and then all of a sudden, I'm going to try to turn this into $50,000 overnight. No, this is not. This is a long-term thing. You need to treat this as a long-term investment. The best advice I got for anybody is do not take no. Do not stress over the little things. You're going to be put down. Make sure you have tough skin. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street. Forget all the crazy stuff that went on in there.
Yeah, take that out.
Take all that out. But if you look at the key part of that, he did not care. He came in and it was sell or be sold every single time.
Absolutely.
Your mindset, start Eric Thomas.
Yep.
Watch him.
Yep.
I used to listen to him when John and I bought that triangle deal. I listened to him every single morning for 6 months on my way to work. I was already in the game 8 years. I didn't need to be motivated. I just wanted the right mindset. The motivation was always there. But listening and doing different things. Be your own critic. Don't be afraid to take corrective criticism. That's the other thing, too, a lot of people have. They fade out because they're told they're doing something wrong, and then their ego gets in play. You don't have an ego. You suck. You have no ego.
Yeah.
When it comes to sales, you just can't have it.
Right.
You got to know you're good at it. You got to want to be good at it, but you also got to be willing to roll with it, and you got to think outside the box. And that to me, I think, is the biggest problem why people fall out.
Yeah.
And show up on time. I can't tell you how many people. I start my office. Some guys come in at 8, some guys come in at 9. I can't tell you how many of the ones that's supposed to show up at 9 show up at 9:05. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be there at 9, be there at 8:30. Get your mind ready to go. If you know you got to be on the phone dialing at 9, be there at 8:30. You have your breakfast, have your coffee, be ready to go. At 9 o'clock, have that phone in your hand. Don't first pick the phone up at 9:05 because somebody else is already talking to your account. That's
very good point. Yeah, that's a big thing, with us too. I always say, we have exclusive leads, right? But the fact of the matter is when people are looking for insurance or anything for that matter, they're going to get it when they want to get it. They're not going to sit around and wait.
Right.
If you're on Facebook and you search, Miami Dolphin jerseys, which you have a million of, you're going to, all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing NFL Shop has it, Dick's Sporting Goods has it. Somebody's going to get to you sooner. So a lot of times agents will be like, oh, well, these leads, they suck because, you know, I called them and they already did it. No, you suck because you didn't call them.
Thank you.
Because they filled it out and it's instant and it came to you in your inbox and you sat on it for 3 days. Like,
Right.
What do you want? They want insurance. So I love that. And the other thing you just mentioned that I really, really love is you continuously do things to get better and listen to things, audiobooks, Eric Thomas, stuff like that, even when you've had high levels of success. You're not sitting back and saying, I've had all this success, now I can just stop learning. So you're one that's kind of never stopped learning. Are there any books or anything else that you recommend or listen to or anything else?
I'll be honest with you, the reading thing isn't my thing.
Well, we'll say audiobook.
Yeah, audio. I can't sit there and I just don't have the attention span for
Sure.
it. My
I'm
mind
with you.
starts going. Eric Thomas is key. It's not even that I just pick one person. I'll go on YouTube all the time. I'll just type in inspirational speakers.
Yeah.
And I just randomly click one and listen to it. And then I'll go to the next one. And but Eric Thomas, he hit it right on the head. You got to want this as bad as you want to breathe.
Yeah.
You need air. He's right on point. He's right on point. That I'll look up a lot of like obviously I'm a big NFL guy like you. I'll type in like Ray Lewis motivational speak. There's one he had to the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And he said straight out, success is between you and you. That's it. You gotta you can't, you're either successful or not, but that's on you. And that was a speech he gave to the Hurricanes 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. He was at our convention. I think I mentioned it to you this past year. Did an incredible speech. I'll have to send it to you. I'm hoping we'll get him this year. But yeah, and it's funny because you listen to that stuff and we'll call it motivation, quote unquote. But it's like you, me, high level people, they're motivated, but sometimes they just need to hear something and it'll like trigger, oh, I should either do this differently or go do this a little harder or change it up. I like to say a lot of times to agents, like for me, even when I'm having success, I'll always mentally say, I need to reset. Because every week I'll have struggles and mentally I know I'll hit like a wall and I'll say, all right, I need to stop, mentally reset, and then go back to my fundamentals. Yeah. Because a lot of times, like with our industry, people overcomplicate the hell out of it. Like it's like what we just said.
It's life. They all do.
Right. So it's all right. You filled out a lead. I'm calling you. I'm going to see you. But sometimes people really overcomplicate that, and they think it's more than it is, and it's not. And even times when I've made mistakes, I have to mentally reset. And what I do is I'll go and listen to something. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's someone outside of insurance or there's so much training inside of insurance for us to listen to and to lean on. But I think you hit it on the head. You're always trying to get better and you're always trying to just learn new things. And I bet you your alarm doesn't wake you up, but your drive does.
Oh, I'm up before my alarm. I'm literally laying in bed for probably 20 minutes before the alarm goes off. And I have 2 alarms. I have the first alarm. If I ever make it to that, past that, there's a second alarm to wake it up after. I never hit that alarm. Yeah. I'm up well before that. The other big thing, too, I say this to everybody that works for me, and it definitely goes for your business as well. Get the excuses out of your head. There's always an excuse why you can't do something. It's not your parents' fault. It's not your friend's fault. It's not the guy in front of you that stopped short and you missed a light fault. No, it's your fault. There's no excuse. Get that stuff out of your head. It's easier. It's the hardest decision in life you can make is the decision to become successful. And that's when you get all the excuses, all the stuff out of your head, and just focus on the main reason why you're here. I want a better job. I want to make more money. I want to do this. I want to get... Listen, all that will come as long as you stick to the plan. The plan is the key. The hardest decision in life you're going to make is the decision to become successful. I'll say it again.
That's a very good point. I like that. I think we're going to leave it on that. Now, we're both, like we said earlier, suffering Dolphin fans. We're going to put it on record here. If they ever make the Super Bowl before we kick the bucket, we are there, and money is no object. Because if you want to talk about a once-in-a-lifetime event, it'll be the Miami Dolphins being in a Super Bowl. So we're gonna get that on record. And the second thing we're going to get on record is that you're going to get into this industry because I think you'd kill it.
Steve, I'm always down for a side hustle to start. If you want to get going with this, Let's do it.
Let's do it, brother. Well,
as far as that Super Bowl goes, absolutely. You know we're in. We're also bringing Vinny and Matt and Lauren and Margot and Dominic.
That's it.
We're all going.
That's it. We're going to be 85, but we're going to be there.
They're going to be pushing us in wheelchairs, and we're not going to know who we are. But we're going to be there.
One day, bro. One day. Well, I appreciate you. It's awesome having you here. And anything that I could ever do to help your business, I think, look, cross promotion is the way to go. And at the end of the day, hard work rules in any business.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you, brother. Great having you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to being at the game with you tomorrow.
Thank you. And best of luck. The place here is beautiful, and I couldn't be more proud of you, Steve.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you.